and I have to say it's been so far a very painful season for all of us Roma fans. Hi, my name is Antonio Gabriele. I'm the founder of Roma Data, a social media account that posts statistics and data about AS Roma. Don't forget to follow us on any social media you may like and you may feel more comfortable with, from Twitter to Instagram, Facebook, Threads, whatever you may like. So thanks, Chris, for having me here, talking about AS Roma and the match against Tottenham that's coming very soon this week. So I start from your first question. That is about what I think about Roma season so far. And I have to say it's been so far a very painful season for all of us Roma fans. We went into the season with a lot of expectations following last season. After the sacking of Mourinho, we had a spark of enthusiasm with the appointment of Daniele De Rossi. That, as you may all know, is an absolute legend in Rome. Unfortunately, despite a strong end of the season, we didn't manage to qualify to Champions League, but we went into the season with a lot of expectations, and after a summer campaign with a lot of highs and some lows, we were all confident the team could challenge Champions League qualification this year. Unfortunately, the start of the season has been quite bad, but not as bad as it turned out on September 18, when the Friedkin, the owners of AS Roma, decided to sack De Rossi without any sign of this coming. And well, the whole city of Rome went in shock, and what made matters worse was the appointment of a modest coach as Ivan Juric, whose main achievement until there has been reaching mid-table positions with modest teams. Of course, things went from bad to worse, and despite a decent start with Juric, the team went into a spiraling crisis, which led to the sacking of Juric again in November. So we're now with the third coach in the season, fourth of the calendar year, and we are here with the appointment of Ranieri, trying to save a season that so far has been absolutely dramatic. If I go to your second question, well, basically we're talking about Claudio Ranieri, another legend. He just retired from football after achieving an incredible safety with Cagliari in the past season, one of the worst team of the entire Serie A, which he led to a very comfortable safety in Serie A. He retired at the end of the year with the caveat that he would return to football only for two teams, one of these being Roma, the other one being Cagliari. Unfortunately, the situations led Ranieri to being called as a savior by the Friedkin, and the general wisdom in the fan base is that he was the only potential and possible appointment among the various names that circulated after the sacking of Ivan Juric. The reason for this is that Ranieri is known to be a coach that usually achieves the results that are in the power of the team. He is not an overachiever. Well, Leicester season excluded, of course, and rarely he underperforms. So in a situation of absolute chaos in Rome, we needed normality, and Ranieri is a coach, perhaps the only one that can bring normality to this team. So far we are we just had a match with him. We lost to Napoli, who's leading the Serie A table. A 1-0 defeat, which was not the best of the starts, but we hope that Ranieri will lead us to a safe season. With expectations are pretty low at the moment, and sadly I have to say that for Roma fan base, the only objective at the moment is to avoid relegation, which is something I would have never expected to say 3 months ago. So with this confidence, with this low confidence level, the fan base is traveling to London to support the team, as always, despite a low confidence, despite very little hopes to scrap a result in Tottenham's field. The away fans area of Roma fans will be full of supporters, as it always been for Roma across these years in Europe. So going from bad to worse, we can also talk about Roma Europa League campaign so far. Another painful part of the season. Roma has been possibly the strongest team in Italy, in Europe, in the past 5 years, achieving 2 finals and 2 semi-finals in the past 5 years. So we've built quite a good reputation in European campaigns. Unfortunately, this season doesn't look to be the same. We started with a decent game against Athletic Bilbao, the second when Juric was in charge, but we wasted the victory in the last minutes, conceding a silly goal to the Spaniards, to the Basque, I should say. Second match in Europa League has been absolutely dramatic. Roma lost. A rotated team of Roma lost against Elfsborg without basically creating any chance to draw the match or even score a goal. An absolute disaster of a performance for Roma, which made the campaign pretty in a pretty dangerous situation. The third match luckily was a win against Dynamo Kiev, a very scrappy win, a 1-0 with a penalty of Dovbyk, but a match played absolutely bad by Roma, and I have to say we just won by means of being a better team of Dynamo Kiev, which is probably one of the worst teams in the competition. The last match we played was against Union Saint-Gilloise, against another modest performance by Roma, which again wasted a victory, conceding yet another header in the dying minutes of the match, after being in a leading position for most of the second half. So we are not in a good position. We are still among the teams that are qualified at the moment, but very far from being qualified among the first 8 positions. And at the moment, the situation doesn't look very bright. Possibly Roma will be qualified at the end of this campaign, but the expectations even in this competition were much higher, and being ranked first among the 36 teams, the fan base was hopeful to be qualified among the 8 teams. This will lead to complications in February, giving the team 2 more matches to play, and making the team suffering once again from the very congested calendar. About Tottenham, I have to say, we see some similarities usually between Tottenham and Roma. Both teams from the capital, both teams with a pretty empty cabinet, trophy cabinet, teams that are widely supported. They have a very passionate fan base, but they are very often disappointing the fan base with unlucky performances or with objectives that are wasted in the last matches of the season. So far this season, I have to say, Tottenham, from what we have seen, is doing pretty well in Europa League. You're with 9 points in 4 matches. You're well on course to be qualified among the first 8 teams. But you have been a bit delusional in Premier League. Well, it's a bit ironic to say this after your absolutely shocking victory against Manchester City this weekend, but this is a little bit the photography of the season and possibly of how Tottenham is perceived outside England. A team capable of doing and putting down amazing performances against the strongest teams in the world, but at the same time capable to lose and waste points against minor teams in the competition. And I'm thinking about a silly defeat like the one against Crystal Palace. So all in all, we think you might be better in the table in Premier League, and we wish you all the best for the continuation of the season. I have to say, I don't have a very strong favorite for this competition. For Europa League, I think the new format is pretty peculiar. So it's pretty difficult at this stage to say who will be in a strong position in spring to win the competition. Before the start of the season, we thought Roma could be one of the major candidates to the victory. At the same time, I believe Tottenham is certainly one of the strongest candidates to win the competition. Athletic Bilbao is another team that can do very well as long as they don't focus too much on La Liga. And I have to say, probably also Manchester United is a team that can do very well in Europa League. But we will be able to say much more after the first knockout games once we have much less teams in the league. So about your next question is what sort of game we expect on Thursday and how Roma will set up tactically. Well, I believe that Ranieri is usually a very versatile coach. So against Napoli, we have seen a team lining up with a 4-5-1 formation in the first half. That was switched to a 3-5-2 or 5-3-2 just after the break. And this has been a constant throughout his whole career. He has been a coach capable to adapt his tactics to the players he has available. I think against Tottenham, I suppose we will go with a 4-4-2 formation. There's not so much to rotate in defense. The men are more or less those that we saw against Napoli. So I would expect Svilar in goal, Zeki Celik on the right back, Angelino on the left back, and a pair of central defenders with Mancini and Ivan Dica. In midfield, I believe we will see again Stefan El Shaarawy on the right back, on the right wing. Possibly there will be a rotation in midfield with Enzo Lefi, who could see a starting position instead of Brian Cristante. There's no chance that Manu Kone will be benched. He's absolutely our best player from the beginning of the season, and he's rocking in midfield. And on the left wing, we may either see Nicolo Pisilli, a graduate from Roma Academy, who's doing pretty well in the beginning of this season, or we could see Lorenzo Pellegrini playing in a false left wing position. And up front, depending on the condition of Dybala, we might either see Dybala pairing with Dovbyk, or in case Dybala is not available, that's one of the major question mark of Roma season, we may see Baldanzi lining up with Dovbyk. I do expect Roma to play a pretty defensive match. I don't think we will play offensive football from the beginning. I expect Tottenham to start strong and put their foot in, put a strong statement since the beginning of the match. Possibly Roma will be suffering a lot, especially in the first minutes, and they have to be able to survive the first 20 minutes. Then a different match could unveil. And with that, I think I answered a little bit your other question about the standout players for Roma. Well, looking at the lineup, I think you should worry mainly about our two strikers, Artem Dovbyk, who came out as a top scorer in La Liga last season, and is performing pretty well with Roma so far. He's our main attacking threat. Then the biggest question mark for Roma is the health of Dybala. He's an absolutely amazing player when fit, but the difficulty that we have seen throughout these 3 seasons, and that's been, let's say, a constant throughout his career, has been his physical condition. There was just an article today mentioning that Dybala has played basically just 50% of the matches since he was hired by AS Roma. So if Dybala is in condition, is a player that can change the match in a single moment. So absolutely a player to worry about for the opponents. But if I have to name one player that's been the best performer of Roma this season, has been without any doubt Manu Koné. He's a very dynamic midfielder. We have seen him playing amazingly also with his national team against Italy in the international break. He's been very dynamic, very present in the matches, and one of the few bright spots of Roma in this terrible start of the season. Well, I think I gave you already our expected lineup, and as hard as it's score prediction, mine is more a hope. I think we will be very happy if we come out of this match with a draw, without a defeat. Not so much for the Europa League campaign, but to build the morale of this team. I have to say the morale of the players at this moment is at the bottom, and coming out from from the match against Tottenham with a draw, it would be already a big improvement. So my prediction and hope is 1-1. And all the best to you, and all the best from the next match on, and good luck, and ciao from AS Roma.